Welcome to Iconic Talk. This is your community's podcast with conversations about real estate, local happenings, and all things Winchester, Virginia. I'm Mark Francis, a local realtor, broker, and owner at Icon Real Estates.
And I'm Megan Eanes, a local realtor for 21 years and part of the Icon Real Estate team. Mark and I are so excited to share everything that we love about Winchester, Virginia with you. We want you to be an informed, savvy real estate consumer in today's ever-changing market.
Yep, if you want local knowledge, you have come to the right place. This is the end of the year 2022. I can't believe it. It goes by so fast.
It sure did.
And it's also my favorite week of the year.
Really?
Did you know that? I mean,
No.
There's something about the week between Christmas and New Year's that's just relaxing.
That makes sense because it's usually very calm. There's not a lot going on.
The world shuts down. And even if you have like a standard kind of 9-to-5 job and you have to go into work, it's slower.
Right.
I mean, unless you work in retail and all the returns and people are coming and going and that hustle and bustle. But at least in my world and all the many jobs that I've had over the years, this week is fun. It's kind of just unwind, relax.
Right.
And if you're working, it's a little slower paced. I love watching those TV shows also, the year-end in reviews.
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
all the pop culture references and the year in review in sports or all the things that happened. And you get like just the fun nostalgia of looking back at the year and just
all the things that have happened and changed and
looking forward to the next year and what might happen. And so, it made us think we need to do the same thing.
Right.
Let's be one of those fun shows that people can listen to and look forward to say, oh, what do Mark and Megan have to say about that?
Right.
Well, we did an episode like that, Nikki and I, a year ago, and made some predictions for the market. And we can do the same thing this year. But let's look back first.
Okay.
And then also I want to tease everybody to say we have a big special announcement coming up here at the end of the show.
That's right.
So hold on to your seats, people, and let's go. So give us a recap of what you saw happen in the real estate world last year.
The real estate world was kind of like a little bit of a roller coaster that kind of went up and then it just kept kind of just going down and kind of just plateaued. It was a big roller coaster.
Any loop-de-loops in there?
I think maybe a few loop-de-loops, a few when you go like into a cave in the dark and you don't know when you're going to come back out of that again. It was different and a little bit unexpected, and especially with, the biggest thing of all, of course, was the interest rates and that change. You went to the top of the hill and it just went, you just started coming down on that roller coaster real quick.
Yeah, and it wasn't necessarily like a crash and burn. It was just like a halt.
Right.
And so the spring, the winter turned into an early spring, and that was insane. You were talking about houses selling the first weekend, the first day they go in the market, multiple offers, all of that chaos and craziness.
Sight unseen offers.
Sight unseen, waiving contingencies left and right, going 20, 30, 40 grand over or even 5-10% over list price in order to get it. I still have buyers to this day that lived through that and didn't come out with a house.
Yeah, same here. And then it was funny because all of a sudden we almost hit a wall when right when the time changed from the 30th of June to the 1st of July. It's something just changed instantly.
Buyers got worn out. Those that didn't end up landing a house are just like, I am done. They're exhausted. The interest rates went up. And then their budgets had to change.
Houses started sitting on the market. Prices. That's when the prices started dropping again. So we saw that. And I think July was a lot of shock.
Yeah.
And then I think August, it's okay, well, now we need to start adjusting the direction that we're going here. And that's when prices started coming down on just about everything.
And fall, things started selling again. It kind of, there was that roller coaster going back up a little bit, and it started normalizing.
Right.
The buyers who realized that they needed to change their budgets and still needed to buy a house were able to get in the door. There's some houses were selling and getting listed, but still not a huge inventory. So that's where, in the end, we're in the winter, we're in the holiday season. Yes, it's slow. It's always slow, but it's not because of a crash or a down market. It's because this is normal. You're not going to be selling houses, and not many people are shopping for houses when it's 2 degrees outside and it's holiday season.
This is my 22nd year, And consistently, January is always one of the slowest. I feel like it's January and usually July, and then of course February is that. I always think it's funny how the spring market ended up in mid-February, but it
February,
did.
March,
Right.
it's go time. So let's turn that into our predictions then. When you look at the market for this coming year, where do we go? I mean, because the big question on the table for any buyer who I'm talking to is, are interest rates coming back down? Are house prices coming down?
I don't know. I think prices may still kind of work their way down just a little bit until maybe that March area. But I think what's going to happen is all those people that were waiting for, there's the election. So they wait to see what happens with the election. And then they wait to see, well, I'm just going to wait until next year. And I think once people realize that the interest rates are kind of they are what they are, it wasn't going to come down as quickly as it went up. So I think those people are going to be like, okay, it's not going to change a whole lot. I might as well just try to find a house too. So I think those buyers that were looking earlier this year in 2022 are going to come back out and realize, you know what? All right, let's just do this.
Yeah, and we are officially, in my mind, back to a normal real estate market.
Right.
The appropriate supply and demand, the appropriate level of kind of urgency as a buyer, but also for a seller, yeah, it's going to take you a couple weeks to sell a house. That's normal. And there are enough buyers out there
Right.
to where if you're priced appropriately, your house will not sit for 6 months. So there's the balance there of we are in a normal real
Right.
estate market. So it's up to the buyers to then say, okay, it's go time. We're not going to get any better deal than this. This is the best house that I need. This is the best house that I want, and buy. And I always, for the 21 years I've been doing real estate, encourage buyers to shop in January and February because it is slower.
Right.
And houses are sitting, and sellers are thinking to themselves, when am I ever going to sell my house? And so you can potentially get a better
A little
deal,
bit more
a little better
flexibility from those
value
sellers. Yeah.
in the wintertime.
I agree.
So I will encourage all you buyers out there to say, yeah, this is a good time to go buy. Sellers, yeah, you are more inclined to wait to the spring to try to sell and get top value because the spring is a better time of year to sell.
I don't think the sellers are going to have that kind of shoot for the moon type of
Right.
pricing anymore.
Yeah.
Because before it was hard to even find the comps because the values kept increasing and increasing. So they were just, let me just throw this number out there and we'll see, what happens. And
Yep.
then a lot of them were getting it. So that's over.
Yep.
We're going to have to go back to looking at comps. We're going to have to look at what's going on, what's happening in the market, what's happening in the neighborhoods, and
Yep.
price accordingly and prepare ahead of time that the price may be adjusted.
And when
So-
I'm doing comps, I'm looking at comps, and then I'm saying you have to understand that the real estate market was different back in the spring and summer than it is now.
Right.
And so if we're looking at comps that date back to that time period, we will put a good 10% discount and say, here's what the true fair market value is. Based off these comps, we have to come in under this. And so already setting expectations about price to say we have to sell it appropriately. And then, yeah, expect, if we don't find the right buyer in the first couple weeks, let's be aggressive.
I also think what's going to help buyers is finding a real estate agent that they that they can trust,
Sure.
and that knows the market as well. Because you can put it on the market, you can price it right, but if someone hasn't kind of cleaned up their house and put stuff away and kind of, you don't just stage it professionally, but just stage it so it's a little bit less cluttered. And that's going to be huge because people are going to be able to have options again. There's going to be more inventory when the spring market hits. So you want to make your house stand out.
Yep, definitely. So there's a little bit of predictions there, but I think that the economy is stable. Yes, I mean, you look around, there's inflation, but gas prices are somewhat lower than where they were a year ago. You look around and the economy in the marketplace of Christmas season and the shopping is booming.
Exactly.
I don't know what you experienced driving around Winchester this last week, but
Yes. And what's funny is that where did we go? We went to Walmart. So we usually do some of our last minute, it's usually stocking oriented things the day or two before Christmas. So my husband and I went, I think it might have been Friday at like 4:00 in the afternoon. We went to Walmart, and as soon as we hit the parking lot, we drove around it, and I said, not a chance. I was like, I'd rather get up in the morning and go early when there's less people. It was absolutely crazy. It's like, just no thank you.
yeah, no, I mean, I don't mind. It's funny when people complain too much about, oh, I'm not going to get out of my house because I don't want to fight all those people in crowds. Well, you got to do a little bit of that.
Right.
But Winchester, which we've had conversations on our recent episodes, isn't fully equipped with the scale of people to come in and drive around town. The overall just planning of the roads and the community areas can get bottlenecked pretty easily.
One road comes to mind. That would be Pleasant Valley.
Yes, exactly.
From one end to the other when it's busy. That's when you want to kind of find your ways around it. And thank goodness, again, I've said it before, we talked about it previously with Frederick County, is that crossover boulevard was just great.
Yep, that's a big improvement. Well, let's turn the page on that, and we've given some of our real estate predictions, but let's go back a year in review for Iconic Talk. So when you think about it, this is episode number 74. And, we've been going strong for a year and a half. Megan, you joined us back in April.
I think it was episode 40, maybe?
Yeah, so you joined us with episode 40 as just a guest. And then joining us as a guest host, 41, and then boom, you just hit the ground running. So congrats to you for sticking it out with me for all that time.
Well, you do a great job. And I really realized that when the day that I didn't have you for the interview. And thankfully, you had prepared some questions previously for our guests that were coming, which made my life easier.
Sure.
But you really are natural at this and interviews, and you do a great job.
It's fun to do it. And again, part of our goals for Iconic Talk is not just to bore you with real estate numbers, which I hope that you can learn something about, but just to talk about our local community. So doing interviews and just getting a sense of what's happening in town and explaining how there's some really cool things going on is part of our goals and our vision for what we do here. And just looking back in the past, I mean, I can go and just look at the whole list of things. There's so many really cool interviews that we did. One of the ones that stood out to me, and I don't know about you, but it was the one we did with Josh Hummer, Relational Law.
Yes, that was one of my tops.
And, you can really get to your heartstrings on that one because how he interacts with kind of the community of people who are essentially having family members pass, and he is guiding them, counseling them as a lawyer of how to deal with estate planning and how he views it as almost a mission of his in life to go and pursue people to help them through those crisis times. I thought was a really neat conversation.
He's not just the typical lawyer that out there to, and not saying that all lawyers are out there just to, make the money. There are a lot that want to do the job, help the people, but his is about relationships, and that really stood out because that's how we do business. Yep.
So that was one that stood out to me. Another is I'm a big fan of Shenandoah University. So we had two different people this past year from Shenandoah, Liz Albert talking about SSMT.
Right.
And we could have gone on for hours with her because of her wealth of knowledge of theater and that community. But then also Scott Spriggs from Shenandoah. So shout out to him. I feel like we cut him short as well.
Yeah, we're going to have him back on. He had a whole lot more to say.
But you just go down the list. And I would encourage all of the listening audience there just to pick one episode that maybe you missed this past year and say, oh, that stands out. I want to learn more about that. And you can really glean some information about local Winchester knowledge.
I really enjoyed the one with James Frisbee.
Yeah.
That was great. And I think the one that really hit me the hardest, and I think I've told you this before, immediately after we did the interview with Ross about investing, I immediately called my husband and was like, okay, look, this is what he did. This is just really great. We need to start this process and we need to look into this and start doing this. And that is the one that really just kind of resonated with me with great information that hit home. Not that a lot of them have really great information as well.
So that was episode 70 for Ross, and James Frisbee was with Fast. That was episode 60. So go back and listen to those if you want to as well. And you might have different opinions than us, but it's a great year. It was an exciting year for Iconic Talk, and looking forward to the next year, I'm excited. We already have a whole lineup of guests ready to go. We have other people who are calling us saying they want to be on. We're going to plug them in as well. But it's going to be another fast and furious year, I know, for Iconic Talk, and I'm excited about that. Look for us on social media, guys. Share all the different posts that we make. We're trying to get a little more creative.
Exactly. Out of both of our comfort zones.
A little more fun, and definitely get other people to subscribe to the podcast so you can get those episodes every Thursday when we come out. And that's going to we'll give you some teasers of what's to come. We're going to continue to dive into the city and county life to learn a little more behind the scenes what's going on there. Learn about some restaurant week stuff coming up down the road. Even Apple Blossom information is going to be excited, which last year we interviewed somebody from the Apple Blossom Festival. Her name was Della, and the prayer brunch, and she gave a lot of details, but we're going to learn a bit more about that coming up soon as well.
Are we actually going to have the president?
There's a possibility.
Maybe.
We will see about that. So, yeah, all your local news and knowledge will come here at Iconic Talk. So share it with your friends.
Well, I love that we've kind of changed from, obviously we're still real estate centric, but it's becoming much more community. We have so many people that are listening and that want to be involved, and we really want to kind of highlight and focus some of the local businesses or the different communities that are here, and whatever we can to kind of promote Winchester and Frederick County. So even if you have friends, family that don't live here, maybe they're thinking about coming here, shoot them the podcast, have them subscribe. So it's a great way to get to know the community, and especially for if you know friends that used to live here, grew up here, send it to them too. Share it.
Yep.
Share.
And I know also in the future we're going to be networking more with other local podcasts, so I'm excited about that. So yes, it's a whole world of new information that'll be coming out to you in 2023. Crazy to say that year.
Oh yeah.
2023. Yes. So on the announcement front, it's obviously we both work and are part of with the company Icon Real Estate, right? We announce that every single time we start the show. And Icon Real Estate is now going to be moving offices. You may or may not have heard and known that where we record is a historic building. It's called the Kurtz Building, 2 North Cameron Street. People that we come and we interview, they're like, "Oh, I love the building. It's amazing." Well, Icon Real Estate doesn't own the building. They rent the building. And now it's time to move on to bigger, better locations where Icon Real Estate will own its building, and it's right down the road.
Right.
So drum roll, please, because as of January, Icon Real Estate will be at 41 South Cameron Street, another historic home built in 1757.
Oh, wow.
That is going to be ready for use very shortly. We are still working with the city on usage, so if you are a city member and hearing this, we have submitted all the applications and all the permits that we need to get the proper usage. It is commercially zoned, and the usage is there. We're talking about all that. Doing some minor just painting and hanging light fixtures right now, making it look like our current office. But it's exciting.
Right,
and
it's
the
huge.
Iconic Talk Studios will be there as well. And hey, you know what? I'll just put it out there. If somebody wants to put a sponsorship to an Iconic Talk studio, let us know.
That would be great.
We could put somebody's name on it.
Maybe 2023 is the year we start recording it. I don't know. We'll have that. That's
video.
Stretching. We'll see.
There could be some video
postings
of that. We've talked about YouTube out there as well, so there is going to be some big changes. But Icon Real Estate will now be at 41 South Cameron Street, right down the road. I could probably kick a football from here to there. And so that's going to be an exciting location. We will be announcing grand opening party, probably in the spring. Nobody wants to trudge out there, and especially after the holiday season, there's a lot going on. So settle in and be on the lookout for that. And yes, we will be even posting some pictures on our own social media once we're up and running. So,
well, and especially congratulations to you and Dave, the owners of Icon.
Yeah.
And, getting to this point with, you've both been in real estate for quite some time now and came up with this dream of the business, and it came to fruition. And this was year 4.
Yeah.
And now you have your own building. And we've obviously been in a building, but having your own that belongs to Icon is just huge. It just shows that
you don't have to report to a landlord,
No, not at all. And we're not a large office, but it's a great group of people that are here in this office with wonderful owners and staff, and to be able to have their own space is going to be awesome.
I'll pay the $20 bill here
thanks.
after we're done. Perfect. Well, yeah, so that's an exciting announcement. So as you start seeing pictures of us with interviews, you'll see different location. That's where we are. So just quick update. I know there's not a lot going on in town, but do we have any special activities and events here in the Winchester, Frederick County area?
We do. We've got the Belgrove Plantation Holiday Tours. Those are still going on through the 30th. They're 10 to 4. The last tour is at 3:15 during the day, and on Sundays it's 1 to 5. So that's going to be awesome. It's Christmas by Candlelight, self-guided tours, and live music. And then we still have the Walking in a Winter Wonderland. It's going on until Sunday. So check that out at Clearbrook Park. I know we've talked about it several times, and we've had Tony and Ashley on to discuss it as well.
Yep.
And then we've also got the Midnight Mountain Masquerade is going to be at the Monument this weekend for New Year's Eve. So they're going to have the Low Water Bridge Band. There's going to be food, DJ, all kinds of different things. So tickets are $45. And they're, get them ahead of time if you can. Just go to info@themonumentva.com, and there's limited seating. So
wow, cool.
That looks like fun. Have you been to the Monument yet? I haven't either.
No.
I have a friend that works events there, but I have yet to go. So that might be kind of
check
fun
that out.
if you're looking for something to do on New Year's Eve.
Do you have plans?
I don't go anywhere. We stay home. Friends come over.
Okay.
And it's just, we kind of made a tradition of doing that years ago. It's so expensive when you're going out, and then somebody's got to drive. And so it's just easier. And with kids, we'd rather be home. So all our neighbors feel the same way. So if it's nice, we'll have a fire pit outside, the fire going and hanging out and having a few beverages maybe.
Love it.
Do you have any plans?
I don't. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing something and going somewhere, but I'm with you. Sometimes I'm a homebody, and I like watching all those end of the year shows.
Right.
It's just fun and silly and just kind of a tradition of that. And my sister is going to be in town as well. So she's from California. And with all of the crazy travel plans changing and things like that, her flight got delayed and postponed. So she didn't come into town until, actually just Tuesday. So she's actually staying longer than she was anticipating. So we're going to have New Year's Eve together.
Oh, that'll be nice.
So we'll probably just stay home. That's my guess. So I don't know.
It's my favorite.
It's
my favorite thing to do.
See, now I'm going to convince you this is the favorite week of the year.
Yeah,
right?
I'm getting it. It's just
there
the low-key kind of relaxing chill week.
Well, thanks, guys, for joining us in this episode of Iconic Talk, and we hope you learned something about today's episode. And please, again, share with your friends, because we look forward to sharing more with you next week and the weeks to come. Remember, when you're looking for a real estate professional, make sure that they are experienced, innovative, personal, dedicated, and available. And we appreciate you spending some of your valuable time with us. We'd love it if you would take a moment to subscribe, share this to anybody that you know. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram and all sorts of different places. So make sure to check us out. There you go. Until next time. We have to thank Simi Battaglia. That's right. Just once again for the entire week after week doing this for 74 episodes. So, Simon, thanks so much. Thank you. Yep, editor extraordinaire. Now, until next time, think iconic. Until next year. Good.